Well, it's that time of year again. The fall has arrived, I believe. The leaves are starting to change and they're actually starting to fall. The green is turning yellow. But it's time to do the yearly process of boiling. You can see I emptied out my half bin a couple days ago. There's all the soot. We'll redo it. We got to get the fire going, but I'll take you into the shed. It's a mess. I've got all of this stuff. I got to get all that rebar out of there. I don't use rebar a lot, but when I was out in Kansas, when I was doing a lot of those Nest Raider sets last fall, I wanted to be as quick as I possibly could and in all facets, and I bought some rebar and used that, and actually it worked good. I just don't like lugging the rebar, but I did boil these late in the year, but they're going to need reboiled. I boil everything every year. We got some 550s. I'll have to set each one of them, make sure they're good to go, but all in all, I got to get this mess completely cleaned up and do the boiling. But we're going to show you that process right here. We're going to show you what we do. We have shown you before. You got to have clean traps, especially when you're trapping after canines, coyotes, foxes, you know, specifically. But when it comes down to it, it's not a hard process, but it is a time-consuming process. And you can see that pile over there. There's at least, I'd say there's probably, well, I know there's over 100. There's probably 120 and 130 DPs there, all intertwined with, I see cables attached to some of them with extensions and all of that. And I'll make sure I have my trap tag on each, because I want to, you know, whether the state requires a trap tag or not, I just tag them, and then I know I'm legal anywhere, whether they require a tag or not. But we'll get those taken care of. That's the I guess the work before the actual fun part, which is actually getting the fire going and boiling the traps with the logwood dye. As you know, I don't wax my traps. Me personally, I boil them a lot. When they go in the ground, if I catch an animal and that comes out of the ground, I don't reset it. That goes into the pile, it gets cleaned and boiled again. Waxing to me, not that anybody out there does it, I'm not telling you shouldn't do it. To me, it's just a process I don't feel I need with what I'm doing. I just don't wax my traps. For me, it's just an unneeded process and expense. But anybody out there that does it, like I said, that's great. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. But the fall is upon us. The fire to get out there and the desire to get out there to go after these critters is back. You know, I went to the Fur Takers College, experienced that, you know, when I filmed that. I also went to Minktoberfest again, and that's always a great event. And now it's time to get my own equipment. I mean, I got stuff in here. There's some number 4. These are old Johnny's. These are actually Johnny's old. I'm not quite sure. Number 4, I believe. Number 4 doubles. Eddie Dakin gave me those too. He said, I want you to have those. We'll get them piles done. I'm going to get this started. I'm going to show you some of the process I do just to make sure that the traps are in good working order. All those 550s will get reset just to make sure that the night latch gets connected, and I'll have to untangle that whole pile of dog proofs, but it won't be long. It's October, early October. 5th, 6th, I don't know what date it is, 5th, 6th, maybe the 7th. But I'll be setting within about 2.5 weeks. We'll be starting in Pennsylvania, heading quickly to New York, going another place in New York. We'll come back. We'll probably set more in Pennsylvania, and then we'll be on the road to Illinois, Nebraska, Kansas for our collaboration with Trapper Jay and Stu from Coon Creek. I will get started here. We'll show you some of those processes, and hopefully this helps show you that it's not a process that should be you know, looked at as too hard or whatever. It's just fill that with water, get a fire going, and put our logwood dye in, and we'll have traps that are ready for the field. Well, we've got the traps all laid out. We've got these ones on the wires ready to be boiled. Got 550s, 1.5 double jaws, number 4 that we showed beaver trapping last year. Bunch of DPs, a whole pile of DPs there that need to be put on wires to be dipped. And then I have this 550 batch right here that's gonna take me a while to go through all those, and then some rebar and other traps, 1.5s and 4s over there. But I've got the shed somewhat cleaned out. It's not where I need it, but I've got to go through all of the different traps here, and got to go through all of the baits and lures, but I can only do so much at one time, and we're getting late. It's literally about a week and a half to 2 weeks from the season, and there's not a lot of days to give. Hunter's going to be playing golf at States on the, well, he plays the 20th and 21st, but we're going up for 3 practice rounds. So basically we're heading up the night of the 16th. So I've got about 2 days this week and 2 days next week that this all needs to be done. So we're going to start working on it. I'm going to show you, you know, how I check these traps to get them ready for use. And really it's not a lot. Like I said, those 550s are pretty much ready to use right out of the box. All the 450s that I've checked have been the same. And the pan tension's pretty much where I like it. I don't have to do much to any of it. If I miss a possum or a skunk that doesn't set it off, I'm kind of cool with that. But the pan tension, you know, more often than not, they're getting caught as well. The DPs, will set each one of those when we're putting them on the wire to get boiled, and we'll make sure they're running. And then I will we have a whole thing of wolf fangs and my talon stakes there. The talons will go on the DPs, and the wolf fangs will go on the 550s, and we'll S-hook or J-hook one of them on there. And then I also have the 110s that I need to boil that we'll use again. Definitely gonna go back and trap some rats, and we just did our first show this season is trapping the golf course where Dad used to go up there and have some fun chasing muskrats and help them out. But I'm gonna get started. I got about just left the warehouse. I've got about an hour and a half of daylight till the lumens start going down, and I'm going to show you what I do to make sure that they're ready to be boiled and ready for the field. Flat, clicked, and then you fire it. And then I'll take it again, and I'll do it one more time to make sure that it's good to go. Get it up. Check the night latch, click, and then fire. That's good. Now this one needs a stake, so I'll just take a new stake. We'll put that on. We'll take our tool and we'll crimp that down. And if you haven't gotten one of these yet, this heavy duty J-hook tool works on J-hooks, S-hooks. It's unbelievable. But that trap is ready to be boiled. So that's one for the plus. Take another one here. We'll see what has to offer on this one. Get that down. Check the night latch. Click. Nice and level. Pan tension's pretty good. That'll be good. And then we'll get her set again. As I said, I always do it twice. Check the night latch. Nice, and click. And this one definitely had an animal in it. You can tell this one caught. But we'll take another stake and we will crimp that down right there. But you can see how easy it is with that heavy duty J-hook tool putting that stuff together. But that's 2. And we just start working our way through the pile. That's what I'm gonna do on all these. I'm just gonna set them. I'm going to get the trigger in there. Check the night latch. Nice, sets level, fires. Check the night latch one more time. Nice. Sets real nice and level. Pan tension, right around 3 pounds, perfect. And we will take and put a new stake on this one. And once again, the heavy duty J-hook tool works on S-hooks and J-hooks. You just crimp that down and that's good to go. So basically, that's all I'm doing on all these traps. If there is something where maybe the dog doesn't get down under the pan, because sometimes these do bend out depending, you know, getting beat around, maybe some pressure from the animal, some chewing or whatever. Obviously the first 3 I didn't run into that, which is nice. I don't have to do it to those, but sometimes it doesn't get down, and I always like to take the pan up like that and pull that down. Night latch clicks, fire it, gets all the excess dirt and rust, and then I set it like I showed you one more time. And once we do that, night latch, very nice, and that's good to go. And I like that pan tension. And that is all I'm gonna do. There's really not much else I need to do. We're on 24-hour checks. They're not gonna blow these traps up. These 550s in the Pro Series of the Duke is fantastic. And this heavy duty J-hook tool, we crimp that down and that's nice and tight. And another one ready to be boiled. And I'm gonna continue to do this. Like I said, we'll do this for this whole pile. We'll load them up. When I'm doing the dog proofs, I just like to make sure if there's any dirt down in there, I'm knocking it out. And then I'm just pulling back and I'm setting this to make sure that it sets and it's ready to go. And that's all I'm doing when I'm testing out the dog proofs. Once that happens, I release it, and I probably won't put stakes on each one of these, the ones that have the S-hook or J-hook like this one here, because I use extensions some places and I don't like to put the stake on all of them because I may want to use extensions. So I keep a few that don't have the S-hooks or J-hooks on the end. But you get the trigger down in there, you set this, you make sure it sets properly, it's good to go, release it. And for these, they get one of our Talon stakes, just the standard Talon. When they get a stake, which this one has a J-hook, and we're just going to crimp that down. But very simply, that's all I'm doing for the dog proof. I'm just setting it, make sure it sets, make sure it holds, and all in all, that is gonna be where I'm at with these. And we'll make 2 piles, one with stakes, one without. We'll boil them together. But as you can see, it's not a lot of prep. And really out of the box, when it comes to these 550s, 650s, 450s, whatever you're using in that Duke Pro Series, it really doesn't matter. These out of the box, it's very seldom that I get a trap that doesn't night latch and be flat and level out of the box in that whole Pro Series. And these have already been in the ground. They've been sitting around. You can see that they're able to be set, and the night latch is catching, and the pan tension on them is probably right around 3 pounds. And that's really all that's needed for this trap prep. And once, you know, we do this with each one, like I said, I'll put these on wires, we'll boil them. We will show you that process when we get to it either tomorrow or early next week. Well, we're finally getting to the boiling process. We're getting the fire going. It takes a little while to get the ashes there, but once the ashes get in there, we'll be ready to go and get it done. As you can see, we've got all of the traps dozened up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, about 22 dozen traps that we got to boil today. So it's going to be a long day. Basically, for our trap prep, I'm going to fill that right there, half a burn barrel. It's going to get filled with water. We're going to place it on there, obviously, before we fill it, so I can pick it up. But this is all we do for our trap prep. The logwood trap die. I'm going to put all 4 of those in the water, and we'll bring it to a rolling boil, and then we're going to boil each dozen traps for about an hour. I'm going to be able to probably put 6 dozen of those, maybe 4 or 5 dozen of those in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got about 5 hours of actual boiling time just for the traps. And then we're going to boil our equipment last. I throw in the shovel and the hammer and the sifters and drivers. I just leave them in there overnight, and then they just boil out till the fire goes out. But I enjoy this process. As you can see, the leaves are falling down. We've got them starting to fall now. Fall is upon us. The leaves have turned. They're past their prime. Wind's blowing a little, and they're falling, and we'll have to rake those at some point. But we start the season. I'm a little late. My son's golf. I'm a little late getting this done. I started this process about 2 weeks ago, and I'm a little late getting it going. I'll be heading to New York. I'm starting in New York, over just north of Erie, across the border. I'm starting there this weekend. We're actually starting in New York. Then I'll be going up to the Adirondacks with Eddie again. We'll show that. We're going to take the new, actually, you know what? Let's go take a look at that. The UPS guy just came today. So let's open this up. That's what I think it is. All right. Yep, that's it. The new Duke 330. You can see the trigger style, the safeties. It's just a really heavy duty trap. It's gonna be a great beaver trap. We're going to boil that up too and give that some color, and we'll be using that in the Adirondacks as well. So pretty cool. The UPS guy just showed up. Got the new Duke 330. We're gonna boil that with all of the other traps. We've got 550s, 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 550s. Our number 4s for beaver, 550s. Our 1.5 double jaws, and a whole slew of DPs with some 110s that we'll use when we get back to the golf course this year and reminisce about that again out in the field. And that's what this fall does for me with the boiling process. That fire right there is so much more than a fire. That brings back a ton of memories, flood of memories from when I was a kid, from the age I can remember. I mean, 5 years old, 6 years old, whatever. Every fall, burning the wood to get the fire going to dye the traps. And we didn't have it as easy as we do now with the logwood dye. Back then, my dad would be out there in the woods scraping bark off of trees, walnut hulls. You know, that's what was used back in the late 70s when we were doing this, in early 80s. But this definitely is one of my traditions that could be done a lot easier with a lot of different products out there, but dyeing your traps is as good as any. It is a little more time consuming, but well worth the process. So we're gonna get this fire going and check back when we're heading along in the process. Well, we've got our 4 bags of logwood dye in. It's been in there for about a half hour. You can see the water starting to get a little bit of motion to it, which means it's starting to warm up and get a boil to it. And right now I'm actually about 2 hours in the process. It takes a little while to get this going. Had to get the fire going. You got to get those hot coals on the bottom so that it heats up the water, and we've got that going, and start putting our traps in and start boiling, and I'll show you what they look like when they come out. You can see what they look like when they're going in. They're rusty and dirty, and when we bring them out though, you'll see how they get cleaned up, and they'll be ready to go in the ground. I did show you what I do to each 550. Make sure it sets properly. Once that's done, we put it to the side, and then we put them on there as dozens, and we do that with pretty much everything that we have on those wires now. They've all been set. Make sure they fire correctly. Pans are adjusted. Tensions, everything is ready to go, and we'll see how the boiling process cleans them up. Well, we've just got the first batch out. That's our few dog proofs. Looks like 4 dozen plus actually 5 dozen plus all the steaks. And we're ready to put some of the 550s in. And you can see the steam coming off of that. That's boiling, ready to go. And we're gonna get a thing of the 550s, put them down in there. That's all you do. You just taking them, putting them right down in the water, submersing them right under, and then that hot boiling water, and that'll start to boil again once they sit in there. It usually stops it when you first put them in, but you get all of them down in there to where they're all submerged. But once the steam gets off of them, you'll see we can't get the steam off of them. But look how they're all colored up now. That is what we're looking for. Nice, boiled, clean traps in the logwood dye. That's what we're looking for. You can see we're bringing them right in here, putting them where everything else is, and that's our clean traps to start with. We'll have to make it. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell anybody about that yet. That chair is Johnny Thorpe's old chair. That's the chair that he would sit in at New York when he had the corner spot there from the building to the demo area. That's actually Johnny's chair that he always took. And I was up in the Adirondacks a couple years ago, and Eddie Dakin gave me his chair. How cool is that? That's the chair that Johnny used when he was going to the conventions, and you can see it's been around a while. That's an old school, that looks like some lawn furniture from about 1977 Sears catalog right there. But pretty awesome. I'm out here boiling traps, thinking of my dad, and sitting in Johnny's chair. And we've been out here. It took me about 2 hours to get the fire going, an hour, and now we're gonna put some more in. But you can see here, I guess we'll pull these other ones out first. Maybe. I always forget which ones I put in. You gotta make sure that you get the ones you put in last, because they won't come out if you don't. There we go. Perfect. The steam's coming off on them, but you can see that's exactly what we're looking for right there. Those nice clean traps. That dye adheres right to them, and you saw how rusty they were when I put them in there, and they clean up just like that, ready to go in the ground. And we got one more batch here to take out, and they're gonna be the same, no doubt. Steam's still coming off, but just black as coal. That's what we're looking for. Black as coal. Pretty awesome. Now we'll just come over here and do the process again. I'm running out of daylight. It's getting dark earlier and earlier every day. But we're just gonna, you can see how rusty they are when they go in. I'll go right in there. I mean, look how rusty they are. That last batch was just like that. Rusty, but that dye cleans them right up. We'll get these in here. There's those, and we're gonna have room for probably one more. They're gonna boil now for another hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll have the dog proofs, some 110s, and I've got a bunch of these. I've got the big, long, heavy-duty Berkshires, and these are going to be boiled today, the big ones. These aren't heavy-duty small ones. These are the ones that are like 3-4 inches long with 24 to 30 inch cables. And I've got a whole pile of them that I got from my dad a long time ago, and Dad didn't want to use them. He's like, I'm not pounding those in the ground. That's too hard to get out. So he never used them, and I still have them, and I don't use them. So I'm going to put them on special on the website. The big heavy duty Berkshires, the real true heavy duty ones. It's been pretty peaceful here today, watching that fire stoke. I keep putting wood in, and I'm going to put another couple pieces in there as well. I'm going to let these boil for the next hour or so, and then I'm going to put the 110s and as many of those dog proofs as I could fit in there. I'm going to put them in, and then I have to go to the warehouse. I'm going to go down to the warehouse because I need to use the 450s. I'm taking the 450s to New York on my trip in 2 days, and I didn't boil any of those. So I'm going down. I'm going to get 3 new dozen of the offsets. I'm going to use the offsets because the guys' property where we're going to be trapping for coyote and bobcat. If we get fox, we get any gray fox, we'll let them go as usual. I don't kill gray fox. They're my spirit animal. They get a free pass every time, as a lot of you have seen. But I'm gonna make sure that fire is going before I leave, and I'll be down there for an hour or so, grab a bite to eat before I come back up the hill and put the new 450s in there to boil them off and get the grease off and things like that. They won't get as dark as those do. The 550s I just took out, they will not be that dark. They'll be clean and they'll be ready to go on the ground, but they don't get that dark till they get some wear and tear and some rust on them, to where that dye soaks in there pretty good. But what a fantastic day. It's been an absolute, I mean, it's almost the end of October. We just had, actually, I know I didn't tell you about Hunter's Golf. I spent 5 days in Penn State, where we went up for a practice round on Friday, and then a practice round Saturday, and then a practice round Sunday. And we got Hunter's game plan ready for the state championships, and you know, he executed it. He went out there, he shot under par both days. Really proud of him for doing that. He shot -2 the first day, 70, and then he shot 71 -1 the second day for an overall score over the 2 days at the state championships of 141 -3. He was 5 off the lead. The leader shot -8. Hunter was -3, so he finished down off of him. But he couldn't sink a putt. He just couldn't make a putt. He did lead the field in eagles. He hits the ball so far, and he's got a really good wedge game. He had 3 eagles, and I think he had 6 or 7 other birdies. Most of them came on par 5s, though. He didn't have his putting stroke. He probably burned the edge or missed a good 7 to 8 birdie opportunities over the 2 days in that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 foot range. And he 3-putted 3 times. If he doesn't 3-putt, he finishes solo third at 6 under. But he 3-putted 3 times, and they were all long. They're 40, 50 foot putts, and the greens were some fast, some slow. No excuse, just he didn't get it done on those putts. But all in all, pretty good showing, and it was his last dance in high school. There was a lot of college coaches there that, you know, were talking to him and me and his mother, and he's going to have some big decisions to make coming up, and it's an exciting time for him. I remember that with baseball when I was 17, 18 years old, and I'll let him know what I think, but he'll be the one that makes the decision. Wherever he wants to go is where he'll choose. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool, and I appreciate everybody out there that's actually asked about, you know, his golf and how he's doing, and he did well. He shot under par both days at state championships, 5 from the winner, and all in all, a pretty good couple days of golf, and he grinded it out pretty good with not having his putter being friendly to him. Got all the batch of another hour of 550s in there, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I'm gonna get these out of here first. I can't remember what the hell I put in there last. I think these were last. These are the number 4s. Yeah, look how they colored up. Look at those. Perfect. Perfect. Nice and black. Steam coming off. Good to go. This logwood dye, it really does make this easy. There's the 1.5. You saw how rusty they were. Look how dark they are. I got them tangled up somehow, putting them down in there, but they are black and ready to go. I think I have 2 550s in here. You can see the water has gone down in level. Look at that. I showed you those real close, how rusty they were before they went in. And you can see how they cleaned right up compared to one that's laying right beside it that didn't go in. But you can see they are clean, ready to go. Feeling accomplished. Feeling accomplished. Getting it done. I've been sitting out here. It's been pretty it's been pretty damn peaceful today. You know, you could tell when I first started the sun was out. The sun's going down now. The woods are gonna come alive here shortly, I'm sure. But get this last one out and see how they turned out. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. They are ready to go. Get them in. All right, I'm gonna stoke that fire, put another good piece of wood under there. I don't know if these will fit or not. Let's check. Yep, they make it. We're good. We'll have 2 more dips. We've got 3 dozen dog proof right there. We've got our 110s with some more stakes that I found. These will all go on the bottom. I'll just wrap them around the bottom. They'll take up the bottom. They'll get all colored up for being on special on the website. I'm gonna get this fire stoked a little bit more. The coals are pretty hot, but I want to get another piece of wood in there so they continue. And that'll be good. I'll go down to the warehouse. Take 3 dozen. I'll do 3 dozen of the 450s, the offset. We'll bring them up, boil them up, get them degreased or cleaned up. They won't be black like those other ones, like I said, because they haven't been in the ground. They don't have any rust. They're new traps. But we'll get them taken care of, and it'll be dark when we finish this up tonight. But been a pretty awesome day. Pretty peaceful. Sitting in Johnny's chair, boiling the traps. You can hear that rolling boil. That's pretty cool. This is the last batch. We're finally getting it done. I've got come back from the warehouse. Got 3 dozen of the new 450s in there, the offsets. And once they're done, we've had a long day. Basically about 9-10 hours, but it was pretty peaceful. They say you watch a fire and your blood pressure goes down about 5 to 10 diagnostic. Sat in Johnny's chair right there. Thought about my dad, my family, my grandpa. Remembering all the different times, even the ones where I think I told this story before, the last time I boiled or one of the times I filmed it. My dad's uncle, my grandmother's brother, used to boil traps with us as well. And I got a squirt gun and kept squirting them. And he said, "You squirt me one more time, I'm gonna break that across your ass." And I squirted him one more time. And I was missing a squirt gun. So that was a memory that came back today, and just really awesome. I know there's a lot of different methods out there. I know that you can boil your traps any way you want. You can wax them, you can dye them, you can dip them, you can do whatever you want, but I highly recommend spending a full day sitting by a fire and just bringing back some memories. So that's pretty much it. As you can see, I don't do that much. I go through the traps. I make sure that they set. I make sure that they are in good working order. If they're not, they get thrown in a pile, and I get to them when I get to them. But at the end of the day, we've got a lot of traps that are going to go in the ground this fall and winter, and we'll be filming that for you. And you know, I am going to say this leading into starting filming this week. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm not going to go into a location and put 20 different sets. I'm going to pick out the location within the location, whatever you want to call it, the micro location, whatever. And I'm going to gang up at those spots where I think most of the animal traffic's going to be. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to relax. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you why I chose that spot, and hopefully that helps everybody out there in your processes. But it's been a great day, and the traps are going to be done here in about an hour, and we'll see you next time we're on here out on the line.
Email us today for a free catalog to browse all of our traps and snares, baits and lures, and much more. Get all of your trapping and predation control needs by emailing to info@NorthAmericanTrapper.com for your free catalog. Proven products equals proven conservation.